Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today, I want to talk about customizing. Specifically, folding knives, because that's mainly what this channel is about. So, yeah, I think this is a really cool topic. I just want to talk about this, because folding knives are so customizable. You can do so much with a folding knife to make it feel unique. And that's, to me, that's kind of the essence of why you carry a knife. In a lot of ways, your knife becomes a part of you. It becomes a reflection of your personality. Using it, it picks up the wear marks that you put on it. It picks up your hand oils. It picks up, the smell of you or whatever you're cutting, your work. It becomes a part of you. And when you pass on, maybe one of your kids will find your opak knife and they'll say, yeah, this completely reminds me of my dad or my mom. And I feel like that's just so special. And a lot of companies such as like Case Knives, they'll sell their pocket worn knives to give you that feeling of personality. And, of course we all buy knives that reflect our personality a little bit. If you are, a tactical super, I don't know, ninja, I don't know, you'll buy a ninja sword, whatever. If you do a lot of package opening, you might buy a box cutter. The tools that we use reflect who we are, but we can also customize them to put even more of our personality into them. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I love customizing knives. Now, a lot of people think that it's expensive to customize a knife, to make it fit you, to make it seem like uniquely yours. I disagree. You can do it very, very, very cheaply. Of course, you can do the expensive route. Talk about hinderers. People call those tactical Legos. I don't have any hinderers yet. But, there's a lot of customizability there. Swap out hardware, scales, blades, parts, make it, you put it on Teflon bronze or bearings. There's a lot of stuff you can do with a hinderer to make it yours, which can get a little bit expensive, but definitely probably worth it. You can have a knife custom made for you, which will be super expensive. But today I want to talk about some cheap ways to customize your knives. And also talk about some projects that I have done or will do in the future. So the first thing I want to talk about right off the bat is something that I love a lot. And that is dyeing. I dye knives all the time. I love Rit dyeing. If you're a knife person, you should always have at least one bottle of some color of Rit dye in your cabinet. And also, you should have two. Some random color and black. You should always have black, just in case you mess up. You can just turn it black. I love Rit dyeing. It's so easy to do. I have a video about Rit dyeing. There's this little series I do called EDC Crafts, which I haven't made an EDC craft video in a while, but I have some ideas, so stay tuned. I love Rit dyeing. It is so much fun. It's so easy. And it makes a knife feel like it's yours. So one of my favorite materials to dye is micarta. This is my Civivi riffle. This was brown micarta, and I dyed it navy blue. Really, really cool. Here's another dye job I did. The Best Tech Grampus. This was tan G10. Took dye very well. Again, that navy blue. And then there's a lot of fun things you can do with dyeing. You can start experimenting. Here is the Civivi Imperium. This was JG10. Guys, I have a problem with JG10. If I see a knife in JG10, I will get it. And then it will bother me that that knife is in JG10, and I will dye it. I will turn that knife around and dye it. JG10 is going in the dye bath. So I did this. This is a two-colored G10 dye. Gosh. Yeah, this was fun. This was me just kind of messing around. This has become known as the popsicle. For me, because I gave it kind of that translucent, I used very light colors over this JG tin, gives it kind of that translucent look. Really, really cool. I like that knife quite a bit. Another experimental die I did was this color. This was also JG tin, but I did a gradient. If you can see that, it goes from a lighter blue to a purpley down there. It doesn't look as good on camera, but it actually looks really cool in person. So yeah, Syncut Snap, by the way. Really, really fun to mess around with that. Hints. Micarta and JG tin are the easiest to dye, and Tangy tin. Tangy tin is pretty easy to dye too. You cannot dye a darker color, a lighter color, yada yada yada. You guys can check out my video about all that. I love dyeing micarta, especially when it's crappy micarta. This is my Tucson Dreadnought. If you look up the review on this, I called it the Dreadlocks because the brown micarta that Tucson used on this was absolutely crappy. It looked like a turd. So I made this into a Christmas knife, green backspacer, and I dyed the micarta red. And I'm not sure how that's looking over the camera, but it made this knife so much better. So much better. And it's still not high quality micarta, but dyeing it does make it feel a little bit better. And that's always something I recommend doing. If your micarta ever starts to look crappy, just dye it. Sometimes micarta won't absorb the oils of your hands as good as it should. It won't like darken up. Instead, it'll get like dry looking. It'll like rub and chafe. It gets to looking gross and kind of soggy but dry at the same time. Really nasty. Dye it. Thank me later. Just dye it. It'll fix it. However, again, I definitely recommend that you try, do your experimenting on cheaper knives. Let me show you a die experiment that went wrong for me. This was on an F and Grow I bought that also happened to be a clone of a Shirogorov, which I didn't realize when I bought it, but I tried doing something a little different with this. And this is like a $19 knife. And as you can see, yeah, that just freaking sucks. So I know now not to try this method of dyeing on something else. I was trying to do a gradient tiger stripe. It's, yeah, I'm not going to tell you how I achieved that because you don't want to copy it. Yeah, so definitely keep that was G10 originally, by the way. But definitely keep some crappy knives around for practice. Okay, I've said enough about dyeing. I just love dyeing. I love dyeing. Oh, and by the way, this knife here that you see sitting out here, this is the Rat Model 2 and D2 steel, the R2D2. I customized this a long time ago with R2D2 on there because I'm a Star Wars nut. The next thing that you can do is swapping parts on knives. So this here is the Civivi Hadros. And designed by Dylan Mallory. You guys can check out the review on this knife. This was a knife that I initially had some problems with. It did grow on me eventually, and I got to like it. But, I wanted to make it my own. So I changed it from green micarta to this aquamarine blue micarta, which I think looks really, really good. I dye a lot of things blue. I love blue. Blue. Blue, blue, blue. So, yeah, that looked really, really good. But the thing about this knife that bothered me the most was the pocket clip. So, I took off the old pocket clip, which was really nasty and just horrendous. I replaced it with an old Civivi pocket clip. And you can buy these Civivi clips online, by the way, for about you get a 2-pack. But anyways, bought a new clip, put it on this knife, completely changed this knife. Now it feels so much better in the hand than with that other horrendous clip. But yeah, really good. Again, this is a knife that I will never sell because I have made it right for me. It is now my knife. This is the way I like it, and this is the way I'm going to keep it. Another great way to customize a knife, especially for you, is engravings. So let's focus in here. This is not a fancy engraving right here, really. But 3/21/2019. That is actually my girlfriend and mine. That is mine and my girlfriend's anniversary. Gosh, English is a hard language. Anyways, yeah, I know. It's really mushy, but hey, I'm sweet like that. That's a great way to customize a knife and, really put your own touch on a knife and make it a little more personal. I mean, if you think this is mushy, you should see what I'm getting my girlfriend for Christmas. Doing some engraving work on that too. But yeah, really, really nice way. And some retailers do offer engraving right from their shop or warehouse, whatever. Another thing that you can do with knives to customize them is lanyards. A lot of people I know don't like lanyards. I'm not really a big lanyard person. As you can see, you're probably like, what kind of lanyard is that? Well, again, my girlfriend, she loves making friendship bracelets. And I am the recipient of many of them, which I love. However, I do work in the woods all the time and, some pretty tough stuff. And so sometimes some of the smaller bracelets used to have a lot on this wrist. Both of these also came from my girlfriend. They'll just fall off. And so it's become a new kind of tradition for me that whenever they fall off, I attach them to knives. Another knife that I've attached, my Civivi Elementum. So it just kind of makes it feel a little bit special, kind of, for me at least, it's nice. But again, there are a bunch of different types of lanyards. I'm going to bring out another Civivi with a lanyard. It's another Civivi Fracture, ironically. This is a Civivi lanyard with a pin or with a bead. There are so many different companies that make lanyards out there. And I used to do a lot of paracord work when I was in Boy Scouts. And I haven't done any recently, but I've been wanting to make myself some lanyards. Maybe I'll do a how-to EDC crafts video on that. But yeah, and yes, this fracture is set up for left-hand carry because I carry this in my left-hand pocket sometimes. So yeah, it's a great way to customize knives, is to add a lanyard and find some beads that you really like. Which is why I do not always disparage lanyard holes, because you know what? They offer some customizability, and a lot of people like lanyards. I'm not a lanyard person, but even I put lanyards on some knives. In fact, I'm trying to think of a knife right now to put this on because this fell off recently. Oh man. The next thing that you can do, and I don't have one with me right now actually, is sheaths. Leather sheaths. Now I did not make this one. I have made some in the past, but I don't have them with me right now, which is really, really sad. For, leather belt pouches for your folder knives. I've made several of these for Leatherman tools, which is really cool. Sheaths for fixed blades are really, really nice to make. Really good customization. And making leather sheaths isn't super hard. It's not, I don't know, like amazingly easy, but you can make a fairly good quality leather sheath or belt pouch relatively simply. So that's good. Really, really great way to do stuff. And even if you have pouches like this that came right out of the box, something I've been thinking about doing with this one is putting my family's brand right here. So might do that one of these days. Just either stamp it, just stamp it in there. So that's really, really cool. What other ways are there to customize a knife? It's endless. Anodization is something that comes to mind for me. I have not anodized any titanium or steel. You can anodize steel and aluminum, yeah. I have not done any of that yet, but I do have a knife that I am working on anodizing. I'll let you know how that comes out when I finish that project. I'll show you guys that, and I'll do a video on it. So that's always an option available to you. Anodizing is basically you take something like a titanium frame lock, in the case of this Bestech Horus, and you can, using electric charges, change the color of this titanium. So really, really cool. Really cool process. Very, very unique. Another thing, I kind of talked about this already. No, I didn't talk about this already. My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. The next thing I want to talk about is reprofiling or regrinding knives. That's definitely a form of customization. You can send your knife off to, there's a bunch of people I know that do regrinds. They'll make it thinner behind the edge, or reprofile your knife. For example, there's this guy, Jurassic Collectibles, and several times I've wanted to send him one of my cold steels and have him make it into a clip point. And now I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'll reach out to him and get him to do that. I know he's kind of trying to slow stuff down, but anyways, off topic. I also have a couple of projects I'm working on, doing some flipper deletes and some what do you call it when you change the blade shape? Is it just reprofiling? Anyways, I have some projects of that nature coming up, which again, I will be sure to show you guys because I think they're going to turn out pretty cool. And then the last thing I want to talk about is aftermarket scales and stuff. So here we have my PM2 Tanto. I like this knife a lot, but I want to switch out these scales. So for this, I'm going to go and buy some aftermarket scales. And this is something that you can always do. It can be inexpensive or very expensive. And I want to ask a question to you guys. What kind of scales should I put on this? This is a hard use. This is going to be a hard use work knife for me. And I have a couple of ideas for scales. I'm thinking either Titanium Lotus Micarta or titanium scales, or contoured jade G10 scales that I can then dye. So those are the three things I'm thinking about right now. I want you guys to tell me which ones you think I should go with, or if you have other suggestions for what you think would be really cool with this work knife PM2 Tanto, because I really do want to switch out the regular black G10 scales for something else. I haven't said this ever, I don't think, but I think that satin blades with black handles are so boring. It's so boring. Everything looks like that. All blacked out looks okay to me, but I don't know, satin with black just looks so plain and blech. But anyways, so yeah, that's definitely something I want to try out. So there you have it. Just a little talk about customization. And customizing, if I haven't made this point clear already, it doesn't mean that you're taking a knife to make it functionally better. Most knives that I love stock, I eventually modify. This is the Civivi Statira. This is a discontinued knife. I love the Civivi Statira. This used to be the carbon fiber laminate over the tan G10. Well, I dyed it that navy blue that I like so much. I hope you guys can see that. Love this knife. It's a discontinued knife, but I don't care. I dropped it in a dye bath because I like this knife so much. I want to make it feel more me. I want it to match me. One of my favorite knives ever. Cold Steel 8015. I dyed the OD green scales a dark blue, because I just love this knife so much. I want it to feel more me. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I just wanted to talk a little bit about customization and how fun it is, and why I think everyone should do it at least a little bit. I mean, RIT dye, guys. RIT dye, RIT dye, RIT dye. It is so fun. It is so easy. You will love it. Anyways, that's going to be it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what I should do with this PM2. I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.